Record. Okay, well, welcome everyone. So this is Wellness Week. doTERRA has named it Wellness Week, and we didn't know it was coming, but I'm actually very excited to have it because there's some really lovely products that they are making available. We hope to have these as full-time products in due course, but the reason why they don't have them is because many of them fall into the supplement realm, and then it is like jumping through many hoops to get things approved by SAHPRA and to get them allowed into the country. But you can do sort of a once-off trial whereby you do like a market trial so that you can launch things for a short time, but not as permanent products. And that's why we can have these now. And hopefully in the next 6 months, we'll have them as more permanent products. We had to do the same with LLV and a number of the other things. Oh, and a Deep Blue Stick because it also has medical claims. Anyway, so just to start, and in fact that doTERRA has made that talk by Dr. Nicole Stevens on Monday night available to us. So it is a more extended version. I'm going to go through this very briefly. If there are any questions, please pop them in the chat. But I just wanted to show you because this is quite a vital picture, this wellness pyramid. I don't know if you can see that. I'm hoping you can, which is the basis of what we talk about. And we're going to be doing a lot of this in the shed, is that we can't just take an oil or a pill and be better. We have to do many layers and build foundations for our health and for our life. And the basis of that would be nutrition and digestion at the bottom, movement and metabolism. Nutrition and digestion. The Terrazyme falls into that category. Obviously, so does Zengest. A lot of our digestive enzymes, even the assist, which is part of the meta power because it's all about how we absorb the carbohydrates in our diet. Then movement and metabolism, obviously exercise is hugely important, as is how we metabolize things. So the deep blue phenols fall into this realm, lemongrass because it's very helpful for joint pain, meta power because that's very good for managing our metabolism and our glucose spikes. And then we have resting and managing stress, which this would be Adaptiv. In the Adaptiv capsules, obviously we have Adaptiv oil, we have Copaiba, soft gels, but just talking about this week, it would be the Adaptiv capsules. Reducing toxicity, there's a little trio of OnGuard, lime, and tea tree, which are so useful to add to our products or as our cleaning products. I'll talk a little bit about that just now. Informed self-care, that's where the Melissa and Copaiba come into, also with really wonderful benefits for mental health and wellness. So I'm just going to stop sharing and go back to this. Welcome to those who've just joined. And sorry, I need to get my notes up. I was unable to print them because we don't have our Wi-Fi, and so my printer's not working. So I've lost you guys for a moment. Okay, so Terrazyme has many wonderful digestive enzymes in it, including bromelain, which many of us know from pineapple. And that's why there's always been the sort of wives' tale, if you're feeling nauseous, if you're feeling sick, to have pineapple, even pineapple jelly or pineapple juice. Pineapple and bromelain is so good for dealing with inflammation, even cardiovascular disease, because it breaks down things and it even inhibits blood platelets from clumping. So we often talk about the oils with side benefits, and certainly these digestive enzymes have many side benefits. So it's not just for digestion in our gut, it can have benefits in our inflammation and our cardiovascular system, and as well as many other systems. You can have a look up. I'm just looking. You can have a look up on bromelain. There's also protease, amylase, papain, lactase, and cellulase, and lipase, all digestive enzymes. And then it includes things like caraway seed, ginger root, and peppermint leaf as essential oils. And so it's very good at breaking down glucose, breaking down lactose, which many people find very difficult to digest. And there's a wonderful little video that we posted this week. It's just a couple of minutes showing a little experiment with oatmeal, how it clumps, and then using the digestive enzyme and showing how it really breaks it down, which would make it far more absorbable. So I've been lucky not to have very many digestive issues in my life, but I know many people like Dr. Tanya Yerster, who spoke at convention, had major digestive issues. She's been a ballerina for many years and had many joint issues and took a lot of anti-inflammatories and painkillers when she was younger, and really has a very, very sensitive gut. And she uses this Terrazyme. I mean, this was her first thing I think she got from doTERRA. She uses it so much because it really helps her with digesting and processing different, her meals. And many people like Dom have been using it for sort of 7 years. So there are a lot of people with a lot of experience. I just use it on an ad hoc basis. If I feel like I'm not digesting very well, then I'll use it. But other people use it really prophylactically and use it before meals religiously. So that is Terrazyme. Then we move on to the deep blue phenol complex, which has got turmeric, boswellia, which is frankincense, which I talked about last week, ginger, camellia sinensis, pomegranate seed, which we know from yarrow pom, what powerful antioxidant effects it has, grape seed, and Japanese knotweed. And these deep blue polyphenol complex are fantastic. I have ordered them a couple of times from the US when I've known people going over there. They're fantastic to use either prophylactically or regularly if you have joint pain, arthritis, inflammation. Also, if you suffer from things like lupus or fibromyalgia or any inflammatory issues. They're also very good to use for if you struggle with migraines and headaches. You can take up to 3 at a time. And they don't have the side effects of the anti-inflammatories on your gut, on your kidneys, but also we don't really want to stop the body's inflammatory reaction unless it becomes a very chronic inflammation, because that's part of what heals itself. So the deep blue phenols are very good for helping with inflammation and tissue healing, and pain. So it's something that I will definitely be getting, and we use a lot in our family. That comes free with a lemongrass. I forgot my book. Where did I go and put it? Oh, put it back there. Lemongrass is very good. We say lemongrass for ligaments. It's very good for ligament integrity, tendons, and connective tissue. So it's very good for using on sprained ankles, on inflamed joints, on ruptured tendons, or even just strained tendons. It's a wonderful oil for that. We also diffuse it. It's very good for keeping away flies and insects. And then one of the other ways we use it a lot is for blood pressure and cholesterol, having a drop in water and sipping that all day. I know Brenda Campbell and our team had a really positive effect when she measured her cholesterol levels on her discovery checkup after just having the lemongrass in water. It's also very good for bladder and kidney infections. One can use it in the capsule or a little bit in water, and very good for lymphatic congestion. So many people struggle with lymphedema and with flow, and we really need our lymph system to be working optimally to help flow in our body to get rid of our toxins and our high toxic load. So this is where lemongrass can be very helpful, along with other things like cypress. And then also it's very good for thyroid support, hyper and hypo, both. It brings the body back to balance. It's an adaptogen. So one can use that topically over the thyroid area or in combination with some other oils to really support the thyroid. And the sort of emotional properties of lemongrass are regenerating from obstructive to flowing. So that's what we want to do. We want to get things flowing. We want to improve blood flow to torn ligaments and tendons. We want to our blood pressure we want more flow and less stagnation in kidney and bladder issues. So it is quite a strong oil. If you use it undiluted, quite often you can get a rash. So I really encourage you to do it with a little bit of coconut oil, and it's very nice in a roller. You can also take it internally, like I mentioned, and mix it into like an inflammation mix, which we do with turmeric, lemongrass, copaiba, DDR prime, and frankincense that we can take in a capsule. Then there are the Adaptiv capsules. One can take those 1 to 2 capsules daily. It's a wonderful one for teens, even from anyone from the age of 10, because we can't take Adaptiv oil internally. I'm not exactly sure why, but it's something in the ingredients. So the capsule is the one for internal use. It's a really, really good capsule because it's got contains GABA as well, which is the gamma amino butyric acid, which acts as the primary inhibitor neurotransmitter responsible for the parasympathetic response. It really helps to move our body into the parasympathetic nervous system. So it really helps our body to calm and to cope. And it's also got things then like lavender, coriander, wild orange, and fennel, which are all calming and very feel-good oils. And it's got the ahi flower seeds, which are very, very rich in omega oils, vegetarian omegas. And so it improves our fatty acids to our brain, which is also very beneficial. So it really helps us to manage stress, to boost mood, to balance our mind and body, promotes positive feelings. It's basically, it improves our coping range. So we have a coping range, a natural coping range, and Dr. Stevens talked about this on her talk. And sometimes we find ourselves going out of that range. And that's when we really struggle to cope. We struggle to feel in control of things, or we sink into very dark places or very anxious spaces. And this sort of increases our coping range or helps us to be more in this range where life feels more manageable. So it's also for people, if you have friends who've been really struggling emotionally, it's a wonderful gift and something very supportive to give them. Then Nicole Stevens talked quite a lot about toxins, and this and the definition of a toxin is a substance that places undue stress on the body. And the toxic load is the sum of toxic substances accumulated within the body and the burden they place on the organs at any one time. And when we have excessive exposure to toxins, this can lead to increased risk for hormone-related conditions, which we're seeing a lot of, like endometriosis, polycystic ovaries, can also lead to hormone-related cancers. Unfortunately, seeing a lot of that as well. Obesity, diabetes, metabolic issues, cardiovascular system issues, neurocognitive issues in developing children, which we're also seeing a lot of ADHD and attention, ADD, and various other, there are a wide range of neurocognitive issues showing up in children, and also poor thyroid function, which a lot of women are struggling with. And all of this can be related to high toxic load. And 60% of what we put on our skin, and as women, we put a lot of makeup on, we put a lot of body products on, which often have a lot of preservatives, fragrances, and things like that in them. So 60% of that, what we put on our skin, and in that we must also include our washing powders and stay softs if we're using sort of non-natural ones, enters and is absorbed into the bloodstream. So that also contributes to our high toxic load. So it's important for us to choose more natural cleaning products for cleaning our surfaces, cleaning our chopping boards, cleaning our fruit and vegetables, and using as our shampoos and our body creams and our makeups. So that's too much to go into right now, but the lime, tea tree, and OnGuard little trio is very, very helpful for that. I talked about OnGuard and tea tree in previous videos. You can take a deeper dive into that. And lime is very good for actually for chest things, it's conditions, especially if there's a lot of mucus. It's very good for uplifting mood. It's a lovely thing to put in a sparkling water. It's good for detoxing. It's very good. That's a citrus oil, so it's very good for cleansing. And then finally, there's a mental wellness trio, which is Melissa, the Copaiba Touch, and black pepper. And all three of these really support the endocannabinoid system, which are our peripheral neurotransmitters. So they work in a similar way to help to bring the body back to homeostasis. But so a similar way to CBD or cannabis oil, but cannabis oil works on the central nervous system, whereas these work on the peripheral nervous system. So they affect the neurotransmitters, the endocannabinoid system, at the distal points at our neurotransmitters in our gut and in our skin, in our body, in different organs. And so they don't have the hallucinogenic effects that cannabis oil may have, or CBD oil. So Melissa is made actually from lemon balm, but you need 30 kilograms of the plant to make 1 5 ml bottle of Melissa, which is why it's so precious. And it's really helpful for calming nerves and nervous tension. So even if you want to make a tea of just lemon balm, you just take the lemon balm leaves and put hot water. It's good for nervous tension. But if you can imagine the potency of the oil, because it's so condensed. So it's very good for calming the nervous system. It's very good for high blood pressure. Again, it calms the system. Very good for things like fever, blisters, and viral infections, putting it directly on. Very good for depression, for darkness. In fact, the emotional qualities are from depressed to light-filled, and that's why we often do the Melissa Challenge. So every year we'll do a Melissa Challenge to kind of raise our vibration. And then a dab of Melissa on the bridge of your nose or sinuses when seasonal threats arise and are leading to respiratory issues can be very helpful as well. And the Copaiba touch is also contains beta-caryophyllene. We've talked quite a lot about Copaiba. I'll do a separate video on Copaiba very soon, but it's very good for returning to homeostasis, for inflammation, anxiety, skin issues. It's very good for skin. So the touch roller is very good for skin and for calming, and one can use it as a massage oil because it's so calming. And finally, black pepper. It's also strongly antioxidant. It's very good for calming and for circulation. We used it last year in our Skinny Jeans Challenge, and just a heads up for those who have black pepper, or for those who are wanting to look into this, we use it for the skinny jeans. So you may, if you want to do the Skinny Jeans Challenge, we're bringing a new shed it's coming in September. And one of the options will be to do skinny jeans. So the black pepper is great for that. It's very good for congestion and sprains. It's also good for flow. It's also very good for quitting things like smoking. If you're wanting to give up anything specifically, it's great for that. So inhaling or using it topically, putting a dab on your wrists is very helpful. So I hope that gives you some insight into the products for this Wellness Week. I don't see any questions in the chat. Please feel free to ask questions on our group or message me directly. I'll definitely be getting a few of these for both our daughter as she enters exams and things, and some of her friends, the Adaptiv capsules, the deep Blue Polyphenol for Colin and some of his team, who are all experiencing lots of aches and pains as they play far too much paddle tennis, but it seems to be addictive. And I wish you a happy Wednesday.